Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday afternoon. Happy Thanksgiving afternoon, in fact. I hope yours is going well. We've got another Seahawks video to get to today, but first, we just hit 1,940 subscribers to the YouTube channel. That's right, 1,940 subscribers. I want to say thank you to all the subscribers. And as always, special tip of the cap goes to the currently 23 channel members, including elite channel members HaWKxXA and Brandon Mikel. If you guys were not watching my content, I would not be making it. Let's get into the Seahawks content. It's Thursday, so it's time for the road to 150. How did the Seahawks pass rush do on Thursday last week, and how is it done through 10 games this season? Well, I'm happy to report that the Arizona game may very well have been their best game of the season. Now, obviously, we've had games where we had more sacks, like against Buffalo, but I think in terms of generating consistent and game-changing pressure, the Arizona game on Thursday last week was the best effort from this defense in getting to the QB all year. So let's get into it. Let's take a look at the numbers and see why I say that's the case. All right, going to start with the defensive line as always. Rasheem Green, no new pressures after the Arizona game, still on 3. Benson Mayowa, he didn't play that much against Arizona. It was his first game back, still on 13, no new pressures against Arizona. Breaking the ice for us, however, is L.J. Collier, who picked up 2 pressures against the Arizona Cardinals. One was a sack, and I believe the other was the one that created the holding call that resulted in a safety that really turned that game in the fourth quarter, in my opinion. So, good game from L.J. Collier. He continues to build on what is a improved 2020 season. I don't know if I'm going to call it good, but I am going to call it improved. We're heading in the right direction with LJ. Alton Robinson, nothing new here. He did not pick up any new pressures against Arizona. Demontre Moore did not play, still serving his suspension. Jarran Reed picked up 1 QB pressure against Arizona. It was a big one, I will grant you, on the second-to-last defensive play of the game, forcing an incomplete pass on what was a pass to an open receiver in the end zone. But we are still looking at a very, very underwhelming season rushing the QB from Jarran Reed. He's got 10 pressures through 10 games. That's simply not good enough, especially when you consider the fact that we have Poona Ford here, who's not doing that much worse, making 1/20th of the money. I don't even know. But yeah, that's a problem. But the good news is I can talk about Poona Ford now. He picked up 3 QB pressures against Arizona, and I didn't know he had that many. I had to really go and break it down and look at the tape before I realized, hey, this guy is making a big impact in the pass rush these last 2 games. Poona Ford is getting to the QB, and 3 QB pressures in 1 game for a run-stuffing defensive tackle is very good. Hopefully he can keep building on that. If he continues to trend in this direction as a pass rusher, he might be a lot better than I was giving him credit for going into the season. And I liked Poona Ford going into the season. Brian Monet did not play. There's a chance he might not make it back this season, unfortunately. So this may very well be the end of the line for Brian Monet. We don't know yet, but we do know that he's a little ways away from getting back, if he can get back at all this year. Darrell Taylor still not on the field. Shaquem Griffin, nothing new. Haven't seen any new QB pressures from him in over 2 months now, I think. So, did not develop the way I was hoping it would. Anthony Rush, not on the team right now, but with the Brian Monet injury, it is very possible we end up bringing him back as the 4th defensive tackle because he recently got let go by his team. So, would not surprise me, excuse me, if we brought Anthony Rush back. Jonathan Bullard, nothing new. He's still on 2. He's not playing very much right now, so it might not move off of that, but that's fine. Carlos Dunlap, the defensive MVP of the game against Arizona, quite possibly. Brace yourself. 6 QB pressures against Arizona. He had 2 going into the game. He had 8 coming out of it. 6 QB pressures in 1 game for Carlos Dunlap. That is off the charts good stuff from Dunlap. It puts him well on pace to meet my expectations. He may blow my expectations out of the water at this rate. So, yeah, Dunlap, excellent game. The numbers bear it out. The 2 sacks are great, but the 6 QB pressures are maybe even better than that. All right, Damon Harrison rounds out the defensive line look. Nothing from him yet. He hasn't had a big impact on the games yet. I think he will have an impact on the game by the end of the season, but hasn't bared out yet. Snacks just needs a little bit of time to work his way into the defense. But that's the defensive line. After 10 games, it's certainly not very good, but at the very least, we can say this most recent Arizona game was pushing them in the right direction. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pressures in one game, and that's just the defensive line. So definitely trending in the right direction there. Good things to report. All right, moving on to the linebackers. We only have one new pressure to report here, and that is Bobby Wagner. It was a big pressure because I think it may have put Kyler Murray in some pain getting him on the turf like that, but that's the only pressure from the linebackers in this Arizona game. 10 pressures for Bobby through 10 games. Really solid stuff. Much better than I expected from him. He's playing well in this regard. KJ Wright, nothing new. Bruce Irvin out, and yeah, that rounds out all the linebackers. Cornerbacks, nothing new from the cornerbacks, so we're going to blow through that really quickly. No pressures from any cornerbacks in any game this year, with the exception of the 49ers game where DJ Reed had one. And yeah, not surprising, but given the fact that we are blitzing a little more than usual, it's a little disappointing that they can't find a way to make at least some impact in the pass rush. And that gets us to safety, where we have a little more good news. Jamal Adams is up to 17 QB pressures on the season, which is way more than I expected. It's mostly because we're blitzing him more than I expected, which comes with its own set of issues. And people have been talking about those issues for quite some time. It's certainly known that blitzing Jamal Adams a lot may very well be having some negative side effects on this defense, but for whatever it's worth, the dude is pressuring the QB, and he has had 4 QB pressures against Arizona. 4 QB pressures against Arizona. Very, very solid stuff. 17 on the year is well beyond even my wildest dreams of what he would do this year. And he's only played in basically 5.5 games. So, yeah, nothing bad to say about Jamal Adams on this front. We can criticize him in a couple other areas, but as I tell people, Jamal Adams has proven that he's a great all-around safety in New York. If we can't make him look like a great all-around safety here, I'm inclined to believe that's on the coaches and the system and the scheme more than it is the player. But anyway, that takes us home for the defense. No other safeties got any pressures. And after 10 games, we are at 110 pressures on the QB total. So that's an average of 11 a game. It's not good enough because we're facing so many pass attempts. But I will say this, against Arizona, things definitely trended in the right direction. We had 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 QB pressures on Kyler Murray. 17 QB pressures in one game is a reasonable number of QB pressures to have. This is winning football from this defense, at least in terms of their ability to rush the passer. If we can keep this up the rest of the year, if we can keep up that QB pressure rate, good things are going to start to happen. So my conclusion is that the Arizona game was a nice step in the right direction, and if they can keep this up, maybe we have something on this defense. And that's going to take this video to its conclusion. Peace out, Go Hawks. There should be a stream later tonight. It is Thanksgiving night. I got some stuff going on. I know everyone else does too, but going to be a stream later tonight. We're going to keep going through Halo 3 probably, and I'm going to get out of here. Peace out, Go Hawks.